Dr. Leonard Bright was known around town as one of the most brilliant dentists anyone had ever met. He graduated at the top of his class. His office walls were covered with awards. He could explain tooth anatomy like a professor, drawing perfect diagrams while patients nodded in admiration. He spoke with confidence, moved with precision. There was just one small problem. Dr. Bright could barely see. His eyes weren't just a little blurry. He didn't just need dental loops. No, he just couldn't see. Dr. Bright's eyesight was so bad. He once waved back at a coat rack for a full 30 seconds before realizing it wasn't a person. But for some reason, he refused to admit it. Instead, he adjusted. He squinted, leaned forward, tilted his head. Sometimes he'd stare into a patient's mouth and say, fascinating structure, while looking directly at their tongue. One morning, a man named Mr. Randall came in. "I have sharp pain right here," Randall said, pointing clearly to his back molar. Dr. Bright nodded slowly. "Ah, yes," he said confidently. "I see it immediately." He picked up his tools with absolute certainty. Moments later, there was a loud crunch. Randall froze and said, "Doctor, that wasn't the tooth that hurt." Dr. Bright paused, leaned in again, squinted harder. Interesting," he murmured, then calmly said, "No, that was the problem tooth. Your mouth just hasn't caught up yet." It didn't stop there. A woman came in with a chipped tooth, and Dr. Bright removed 2 completely healthy ones. A teenager came in for a filling and left missing a molar he never complained about. One man came in for a cleaning and left missing 3 teeth and most of his trust. His assistant Carla noticed everything. One afternoon, she leaned in and whispered, "Doctor, the patient said the pain was on the left." Dr. Bright nodded. "Ah, of course." He adjusted his position, switched sides, and confidently pulled the wrong tooth again. Carla froze. From that day forward, the staff stopped questioning him. They just adapted. They'd exchange looks and whispered in the break room. But when Dr. Bright walked in, they handed him tools like everything was perfectly normal. "Here you go, doctor," they'd say. Soon the entire town noticed. People were leaving his office, confused, missing teeth they never complained about. At the grocery store, whispers spread. "That dentist is brilliant, but something's off. He pulled my neighbor's tooth, and she didn't even have pain there." Eventually, people had enough. One morning, a crowd gathered outside his office, holding signs that read, "That was my good tooth. I only came for a cleaning. Stop guessing." They were loud, frustrated, demanding answers. Then the news showed up with cameras and microphones preparing for breaking coverage. A reporter stepped forward. "Dr. Bright, is it true you've been removing the wrong teeth?" Dr. Bright stood tall, calm and unbothered, then said, "They're not wrong. They're just simply misunderstood." Then a woman stepped up, missing her front tooth. The reporters leaned in. "And you, ma'am?" She paused, then said, "He did pull the wrong tooth," she admitted. The crowd held its breath. "But honestly, I actually feel better." Suddenly, complete silence filled the air. That night, for the first time, Dr. Bright hesitated. The next morning, he visited an eye doctor. After a long exam, the doctor leaned back and said, "Dr. Bright, you are legally blind." Dr. Bright blinked. "That doesn't sound right, but okay," he said. Later that day, he stood before his staff and his patients and finally admitted the truth. Then he said, "I've been practicing dentistry without being able to see." You'd expect chaos, anger, and lawsuits, but instead, something strange happened. The next week, people came back to his same dental office. They sat in the same chairs, opened their mouths, like nothing had changed. Because even though Dr. Bright kept pulling the wrong tooth, somehow, the pain they came in with was gone. This inspired him to change the sign outside his office to Dr. Leonard Bright, Preventative Dentistry Specialist. And underneath, in smaller letters, sometimes the wrong tooth is the right one. And in that town, he became known as only one thing: the blind dentist who was always right.